Question number 27. The perimeter of an equilateral triangle is 852 centimeters. The three vertices of the triangle lie on a circle. The radius of the circle is w root 3 centimeters. What is the value of w? Now first we know that the perimeter of a triangle is the sum of the three lengths of its sides. So if you have this equilateral triangle, we have to add all the sides. And the given triangle is equilateral and the length of each side, what it will be. So if the perimeter is 852, if I divide 852 by 3, I will get the length of each side, and that is 284. So each of these sides, 284, 284 and 284. This is the length, 284 centimeters. Now we will form a right triangle AMO, where M is the midpoint of one of the triangle sides, because we are trying to find the radius, and from that we have to give the value of w. They are saying that the radius is w root 3, but they need the value of w. So we can form a right triangle AMO in such a way that one of them is the radius. Over here, M is the midpoint of one of the triangle sides, A is one of the side's endpoints, and O is the center of the circle. So it follows that AM is, we know that each side was 284. But if M is the midpoint, 284 you can divide it by 2 and 142. This is 142, this is another 142. Additionally, the triangle AMO has angles measuring 30, 60, 90 degrees, where the measure of angle OMA is 90 degrees and the measure of angle OAM is 30 degrees. So we are forming a special right triangle so that there is a relationship between the sides by the Pythagorean theorem that will help us to find the radius. So it follows that the length of side MO is half the length of the hypotenuse. So in the special right triangle x root 3 and 2x, we can observe that the shortest side, which is opposite to the 30 degree, and the hypotenuse, they are having a relationship. The x, if it is x, the side opposite to 30 degrees, double of that will be the length of the hypotenuse. So using that relationship, the length of side AM will be, and what about the 60 degrees? That is having another relationship. You can multiply x with the root 3. AM is root 3 times the length of side MO, and it's given that AO is w root 3. Already it is given that the radius is w root 3. So that means we know the 2x value basically. So since we know the 2x value that is w root 3, what is half of this? So to do that, you have to divide both sides by 2. So this w root 3 by 2, that will be the length opposite to the 30 degrees, because it is half of the radius. And what about AM? AM is w root 3 by 2 multiplied by root 3, because what's the relationship between the sides opposite to the 30 degree and 60 degree? If 30 degrees is known value, the side opposite to 30 degrees, if it is x, root 3 you have to multiply that value so that you get the length of the side opposite to 60 degrees. Now w root 3 by 2, if that is the length of side, then we are again multiplying it by root 3. W root 3 by 2 over here is the length of the side opposite to 30 degrees. So if we multiply by root 3, we will get the length of the side opposite to the 60 degree, or the length of AM we will get. So that will be w times 3 by 2. So this is the length of AM. And AM we just halved it. So we know that it is equal to 142. So from this we can get the value of w by using some inverse operations. So multiply both sides of this equation by 2. So w times 3 will be equal to 2 times 142, which is 284. Then divide both sides by 3. So w will be equal to 284 divided by 3. Since it's a grid-in question, you can even give a decimal answer. Either you can grid in 284 by 3 or 94.66 or 94.67 after rounding. These are all examples of way to enter a correct answer. So main thing over here is to make sure that you form a right triangle over here so that we can get the value of the radius. Over here AO is the radius and we are using the special right triangle to find out the value.